Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from this war between Russia and Ukraine, and I have tons of huge news to share with you in today's video. So we have so much news to cover. There was lots of attacks happening last night inside of Ukraine and Russia. We're going to start off talking about with what Ukraine was doing to Russia last night in Crimea. We had reports that you can see here on your screen. Ukraine downs Russian Mi-8 helicopter with USV missile near Crimea. Defense intelligence warriors destroyed an aerial target using a Magura V5 naval drone. A Russian Mi-8 helicopter was destroyed using R-73 Sea Dragon missiles near Crimea. Okay, so from what I understand, this is the first time in history that a naval drone has ever been used to shoot down an aerial target, such as a helicopter, and a Sea Dragon R-73 missile was attached to the top of a Magura V5 naval drone. I'll show you a photo of that here in just a little bit. We also had it on the thumbnail in case you were wondering what that was. But yeah, Ukraine launched a major attack into Crimea last night using not only Magura V5 naval drones, but also aerial drones. We have videos coming out from Sevastopol, as that appears to be the major target. There's a naval base down there that was also reportedly attacked using aerial drones, and also naval drones striking some of the ports down there in Sevastopol as well. So lots of explosions happening inside of Sevastopol and Crimea in general last night. We also have reports that Ukraine launched major drone attacks all over multiple regions of Russia as well, primarily north of Ukraine. We had the Smolensk region that has a oil depot called the Yartsevo oil depot that was hit last night and destroyed. I've got video footage coming out from there. Also, some unconfirmed reports that another oil depot in the oil region may have been struck as well. No video evidence coming out from that area, but some sources on X were sharing that supposedly an oil depot may have been hit over there as well. And then also lots of other targets being struck in multiple other regions. We heard explosions inside of Bryansk as well were being reported yesterday, but no video evidence coming out from what was hit in those areas. But definitely a lot of drones entering into Russia last night, even the Rostov region coming under attack by drones as well. So that was some of the attacks that were happening inside of Russia. We also have reports that 21 missiles were fired from the Russians last night, primarily striking Sumy. I think some were even targeting Kiev last night as well. So lots of reports of attacks here and so much information to go over. So I'm going to go ahead and start diving into all this news, and we'll show you this video here in just a little bit on the full screen with sound of this helicopter being downed near Crimea. Okay, so very big news today. This is very historic for Ukraine. Okay, so from the Telegraph, we have this report: Ukrainian sea drone downs Russian helicopter in first of its kind of attack. Magura V5 naval drone destroys Russian helicopter off Crimean coast in historic strike. A Ukrainian sea drone has destroyed a Russian helicopter off the coast of Crimea for the first time. Footage of the attack shared by HUR, Kiev's military intelligence, showed the drone bobbing on the seas as the aircraft maneuvered in the skies above. Plumes of water splashed up next to the Magura V5 drone as Russian fire hit the sea around it. What appeared to be rockets were launched towards the first helicopter, which could later be seen plunging into the sea. A second aircraft was also targeted in the strike, but was only damaged and was able to limp back to a nearby airfield. Okay, so from what we understand, two helicopters were targeted. One was actually brought down in the sea just off the coast of Crimea. Another one was damaged and was able to get back to an airfield inside of Crimea and was able to salvage that helicopter, supposedly. Ukraine's defense ministry described it as a historic strike. Defense intelligence warriors destroyed an aerial target using a Magura V5 naval drone. The ministry added in a social media post, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter was destroyed using R-73 Sea Dragon missiles near Cape Tarkankut. In temporarily occupied Crimea, another enemy helicopter was damaged and returned to the airfield. So I'll cite this down below if you guys want to read a little bit more information down here on this article. We're not going to go over the whole thing. I've got a lot of other information to share with you guys, but it'll be in the description of this video if you want to check that out. So let's go ahead and hop on over to X now, and we'll also check out this video in just a moment. War Translator Dmitry reports, HUR reports, the Magura V5 surface drone armed with R-73 air-to-air missiles brought down a Red Army Mi-8 helicopter over the Black Sea. This isn't about picking on small nations with a few million people and boasting about your might. You've messed with the wrong ones. Okay, so there's a video that is here on X, but I actually pulled it up for you guys and I added some of my own sound because there is some music on this video, but I'm not sure if it's going to be copywritten, so I don't want to have any issues with that. But I went ahead and added my own music for you guys and I pulled it up for you. So let's go ahead and check this out real quick. It's about 50 seconds long and then we'll be right back. All right, pretty insane video to show you of that Mi-8 Russian helicopter being shot down by that Magura V5 naval drone. Again, from what we understand, this is the first time this has ever happened, so very big news. So now we're going to jump into some other updates that I want to show you guys. We also have this here from Naval Reports on X. 482, I'm hit going down, intercepted Russian radio chatter during the downing of a Mi-8 helicopter by Ukraine's Magura V5 naval drone. The intercepted communication reveals the pilot describing the damage to the helicopter and the events leading up to it. There was an explosion, I got hit. The launch came from the water, then there was another flash. I didn't see where it went, but the first one hit me directly and exploded nearby. I felt it on the helicopter. Some systems had failed. Okay, so this was reportedly what this Russian pilot was transmitting through his radio at the time that his helicopter got hit and just before he was about to go down into the sea off the coast of Crimea. Now, this was the original video that was coming out. Unfortunately, there's no subtitles, so I'm not going to show it here. It's all completely in Russian, so I think most of us are probably not going to be understanding what is being said here. But this was allegedly what was being talked about in this transmission here, was this information of him explaining that there was an explosion, the helicopter got hit, and eventually he crashed into the sea. So pretty crazy story coming out from Ukraine today. Also, for more translated Dmitry again, Budinov revealed details of a destruction of the Russian Mi-8 by a sea drone. According to the head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense, Kirilo Budinov, Magura V5 drones had previously attacked enemy air forces several times. However, back then, the Russian equipment still managed to reach the shoreline, albeit damaged. Today, for the first time, a helicopter was shot down and it fell into the water. Thus, the fact of the destruction of an aerial target over the Black Sea was recorded. The second one, by the way, was also hit. It managed to reach the airfield and make an emergency landing, Budinov said. Okay, so this is Kirilo Budinov here that they're talking about. And yeah, reportedly that's what he stated today in regards to this Russian Mi-8 helicopter that was shot down. And him also confirming that this event did take place, okay? We also had that video footage for you. So also from UA Voyager, demilitarization. Finally, it happened. The naval drone Magura V5 used an R-73 missile to strike a Russian Mi-8 helicopter during yesterday's attack onto Crimea. Glory to Ukraine. So this is that helicopter in that video footage, the Mi-8 that was shot down. And then we have this photo here that, I'm sorry, it can't be much bigger than that. I was trying to find actually other sources that were showing this photo of a recent Magura V5 drone that has this R-73 Sea Dragon missile on it, but you can kind of see it. But again, I apologize, kind of small. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find one much larger than that. But that's kind of what they look like when they're armed with this R-73 Sea Dragon, okay? So pretty cool to see. All right, also we have this from Igor Sushko. Ukrainian sea drone struck the harbor in Sevastopol, occupied Crimea. Okay, this is a photo that was being thrown around all over X yesterday also. It was like yesterday night, but it would have been nighttime or early morning inside of Crimea when this took place. And yeah, it appears to show some sort of explosion over here, reportedly at one of the harbors or ports in Sevastopol. And this was most likely due to Magura V5 drones also. And we were hearing that there were so many explosions going on at the time over there in Sevastopol and in Crimea in general. Here's another report from War Monitor. Ukraine maritime drones are currently attacking the Russian warm water naval base in Sevastopol, Crimea. Powerful explosions are reported. You can see here, this came out yesterday, December 30th, around 2:41 p.m. my time, which would have been Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so this would have been late into the evening in Ukraine or Crimea. He's stating here powerful explosions were reported, okay, most likely from these Magura V5 drones. Also from Ozent Uri Kokoski, Crimean Wind, we are informed that a Russian TOR air defense missile system has been destroyed in the area of Kazashaya, that's kind of hard to say, Bay, Sevastopol Bay. Okay, so also reports of a Russian TOR air defense missile system being destroyed as well. Now, no photos or anything like that coming out just yet. Maybe we'll see something like that later, but this is what Ozent Uri Kokoski was reporting just yesterday as well. All right, now we got a couple of videos coming out from what appears to be Rostov and Sevastopol at night, and it says Bavovna, which is explosion for like a Ukrainian word, that they use. It actually means cotton from what I understand, but apparently they use this as like a meme for saying explosion in Ukraine. This is from Max24, so we got two videos that we can show you here. This first video, you got to listen very closely. It's not very loud, but you'll kind of hear some explosions in the background. And in this video, you're going to see a car that's parked in front of somebody's house, and the camera starts shaking from the explosion. So there definitely was some aerial attacks going on inside of Rostov and also Sevastopol at night with aerial drones. Okay, so take a look at these. Okay, I let that roll just a couple times because it's a quick 5-second clip, but we could kind of hear in the background that there is some sort of explosions going on over here. I'm not sure if this is in Crimea or in Rostov, as Max24 is sharing two different videos here and not indicating which is which, but definitely some explosions being reported down here. Also, one more video for you. Okay, so I thought this video was very interesting. It's really hard to tell, but it almost kind of seems like these cars are bouncing over here, but I think it's the window shaking from the explosion that's making it appear as if those cars are bouncing right there in front of this house. But it definitely got me in the beginning. I thought it was the cars jumping up and down. I was like, whoa, that was a huge explosion if it's literally making those cars bounce like that. But again, I do think it's just the window shaking, but let me know what you think down below. Pretty crazy video. All right, moving on to another update now. Now we have this report from the Kiev Independent. I want to talk a little bit about the attacks that were taking place inside of Ukraine last night. So we do know, again, that 21 missiles were fired from the Russians last night. I think also 40 UAV drones, these Shahid drones, were also attacking Ukraine. So from the Kiev Independent, this just coming out today, December 31st, 2024. Just going to briefly go over this, and again, we'll cite it down below. You guys can read the rest if you want to. Russian attacks damage homes and infrastructure in Kiev and Sumy Oblast ahead of the new year. Here's a picture coming out from what appears to be the Kiev Oblast, okay, a damaged house over here, most likely due to a drone that was targeting inside of Ukraine, or maybe one of these missiles. So also it says here, Russian missile and drone attacks injured at least one person and damaged residential buildings and infrastructure in Kiev and Sumy Oblast on December 31st. Russian troops launched 21 missiles, including 6 Iskander ballistic missiles and 1 Kinzhal aeroballistic missile, and 40 drones overnight on December 30th to the 31st. A woman in Kiev Oblast was concussed after falling debris damaged the roof of a house and smashed its windows, according to the regional military administration. In the capital, missile wreckage fell onto the roof of a home in the Darnitsky district. No casualties or damages were reported. Russian attacks also damaged infrastructure in the town of Shotska, Sumy Oblast, according to the local government head, Mykola Noha. While no fatalities have been recorded so far, the strikes damaged 12 residential buildings, 2 educational institutions, 3 boiler houses, a healthcare clinic, a dormitory, as well as other facilities. The fact that 3 boiler houses were destroyed, I did hear some information that some people were out of hot water in the area of the Sumy Oblast. due to these attacks. And it says here that damages and losses are still being clarified, NOHA said. During the mass attack, Ukraine downed 6 missiles and 16 drones, Ukraine's Air Force said. A further 24 drones were decoys that failed to reach their target. Okay, so this was some of the information coming out from Ukraine today. There wasn't a whole lot of pictures or videos coming out regarding the attacks inside of Ukraine, so I wanted to pull up an article to kind of show you what happened, as there was some strikes ongoing inside of Ukraine last night as well. Here's also from Max 24, Ukrainian Air Defense Forces destroyed 1 out of 1 KH-47 M2 Kinzhal missiles, 5 out of 6 KH-69 missiles, 40 out of 40 Shahed UAVs, 0 out of 8 KH-22 missiles from a Tu-22M3 bomber, and 0 out of 6 Iskander MKN-23 missiles. Okay, so it looks like a lot of the missiles they were unable to shoot down last night, but pretty much all the drones that were heading into Ukraine were shot down or locally lost, okay, or maybe due to electronic warfare. So that was some of the updates coming out from Ukraine, okay? So mainly Kiev and Sumy Oblast being targeted last night by missiles and drones, from what we understand. So now we're going to move on to this drone attack in the Smolensk region of Russia, just a little bit north of Ukraine, and we had a oil depot called the Yartsevo oil depot that was struck, okay? So from Special Kherson Cat, Russian oil depot in Yartsevo, Smolensk region of Russia burns after drone attack, okay? So take a look at this. No sound in this video, but we are able to see that this thing is completely on fire. And from what I understand, at least 2 oil tanks did catch on fire from direct hits, and I believe it was hit maybe even multiple times. We've got lots of videos coming out from this area. So real quick, we're going to hop on over to a map. Let me show you exactly where this oil depot is located at. So we got Ukrainian territory down here. Here's Russian territory. There's Moscow. Just a little bit to the west of Moscow and north of the Ukrainian border, we have the Smolensk region. And if we zoom in, we have the smaller town of Yartsevo here, okay? And I believe, I want to say I've reported the Yartsevo oil depot being attacked before, as it does sound very familiar. Not too long ago, maybe a couple months or something, we had attacks over here also. But we'll zoom in to the Yartsevo oil depot. You can see here it is a very small oil depot, probably about 15 or so, 20 of these oil tanks. And from what we understand, at least 2 of them were struck and caught on fire, most likely going to be destroyed. We'll see if it ends up spreading and getting much worse, but we do also have a more recent video coming out earlier this morning inside of Russia showing this thing still on fire and multiple tanks burning. So that's where it's located at, okay? Just a little bit northwest of the city of Yartsevo, and this is going to be in the Smolensk Oblast, okay, in this area. And also just for reference, when I mentioned that we had some attacks being reported in the Oriel region, that would be this region right here, okay, just a little bit north of the Kursk region. In Oriel, there was some reports that maybe another oil depot might have been hit over here, but I don't have any official confirmation just yet. If we do, I will let you know at a later video if there is confirmation of any attacks over there, okay? So just to let you know where that Smolensk oil depot's at. Now we got more videos to go over. Max 24, Ukrainian UAVs attacked Yartsevo oil depot in Smolensk region at night. Okay, so we'll start off with this first video. We got 3 in total, so take a look at this. Okay, so sounds like somebody's emergency alarm or some sort of fire alarm is going off. And we can see a major fire just on the other side of this house. Unfortunately, this little building is blocking right here. We can't completely see it, but we can see a major fire over here just in the distance. Okay, so we got another video coming up. I think 3 in total.
Ебать, опять въебал.
All right, pretty insane video right here. Also, we can see that this oil depot is already on fire. Just towards the end of here, we can see another explosion that scares this man after what appears to be maybe another direct hit from another drone incoming to this facility. So again, from what I understand, at least 2 oil tanks were on fire at the time, even during the morning time when that new video comes out. I'll show you guys here in just a moment. So we got another video coming up. Okay, in this video, we can see that oil depot burning over in the background. If you can see also, there's lots of sparks happening here, okay? So that's most likely due to a downed power line or maybe a damaged power line that damaged some of the electricity in the area also due to this drone attack. So it looks like we had multiple types of infrastructure being struck over here in the Smolensk region of Russia. So here's that most recent video coming out from Max 24, Yartsevka, Oil Depot, Smolensk region. Okay, 11 seconds. Go ahead and take a look at this, guys. This thing's still burning earlier into the morning.
Все еще горит, короче. Хуячит, мама, не ходи. Стоишь, жарко. До ужаса. Все еще горит, короче.
Okay, just gauging from this video, looks like one, two, maybe even a third one here, because it looks like there's probably another oil tank on the inner side of this first one here that is on fire. This one over in the background is on fire, so maybe two or three, who knows? By now, maybe it'll expand, and we'll probably have more of these catching on fire and exploding in the near future. So pretty crazy, guys. Insane hit by the Ukrainians once again in the Smolensk region of Russia on this oil depot. Okay, also some reported attacks in the oil region. As I stated before, we don't know for sure if any oil depots were hit, but I do have a few videos to show you of some what appears to be some explosions in the distance over here at night in the oil region. So go ahead and take a look at this first video. Okay, this one might be a little bit hard to tell, but there was a long, drawn-out explosion sound in the background. Looks like a security camera footage was able to capture this. It was staring at a ground over here, okay? So no visual footage, but we can hear something exploding in the background. Got one more video to go over. All right, another explosion to report here, also in the oil region. If you notice, there was something lit up in the skies over there. I'm not sure if that was an air defense missile, maybe trying to intercept an incoming drone or what this was, but we definitely hear a major explosion. Don't know if it's an interception. It's possible that maybe that's what that is, or maybe this drone coming from Ukraine directly struck something, okay? So there definitely was some explosions to be reported in the oil region of Russia last night. Okay, moving on to another update from Military News UA in Vir, so the Vir region. A communication tower was set on fire and the Legion of the Freedom of Russia claimed responsibility. Let's take a look at this. We'll go back a little bit, but we can see another sabotage event. Okay, we've been showing so many videos like this over the last probably 3 to 4 days of lots of sabotage events, okay? So sometimes it's our partisans, sometimes it's Ukraine's GUR, their Directorate Intelligence, that's carrying out these attacks. And also now it seems to be the Freedom Russia Legion that is also targeting some telecommunications towers and trying to destroy them with fire, okay? So we've been seeing a lot of that inside of Russia recently. Okay, moving on to another update now from PS01. Russia's report that Ukraine will attempt another invasion at the junction of Kursk and Belgorod with 20,000 soldiers in the next 7 days. So here's some reports of that, of where reportedly this could take place at. So this little kind of dotted line right here, not this red arrow, but this dotted line is the border between the Belgorod region and the Kursk region, okay? So right now, Ukraine is kind of right in this area, just a little bit north of Sumy. And now we're hearing that the Ukrainians might launch another offensive into the border region of Belgorod and Kursk. Now, we did hear not too long ago that the Ukrainians did try to open up another front in Belgorod. This was probably back in like September or something like that. But it doesn't seem to be that it was very effective for them, because we didn't hear whether there was a second front actually claimed in that area of Belgorod. So it looks like it failed, and now maybe the Ukrainians might try to open up another front over here very soon. So that's kind of where they're projecting that the Ukrainians might push into. Here's the original statement. I think this is from Telegram, and it says by January 7th, 2025, the enemy will strike at the junction of the Kursk and Belgorod regions. The enemy has amassed a fist up to 20,000 military personnel who arrived from training in the West, as well as those withdrawn from the DPR. I would, of course, very much like to believe that the Belgorod section has been reinforced. Okay, so I want to comment on this real quick, as yesterday We had reports that Ukraine was planning another offensive very soon, as they've been getting a lot of weaponry from the West recently. And we do know that almost every single week now, the United States has been sending major aid packages over to Ukraine with lots of weapons, rockets, artillery shells, all kinds of stuff, even armored vehicles that they could use for offensives. So maybe it's possible that this is where the next offensive is going to be at, as we did hear yesterday that Ukraine is going to launch a counteroffensive very soon, probably at the start of the new year, which is pretty much just tomorrow. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an update on that. It looks like we could see potentially another incursion into Russian territory on the border of Belgorod and Kursk region. Okay, moving on to another update from Max 24. 8 Russian soldiers killed, 22 wounded in Storm Shadow missile attack on military facility in Elgov, Kursk region, Astra. Now, if you saw my video yesterday, you'll remember that I actually showed you guys this video, but we do have some updated information now that it looks like we did actually have 8 Russian soldiers killed, 22 wounded, and this was actually a Storm Shadow missile attack, okay? What was originally being reported was HIMARS. Some people are even saying that it was ATACMS. So I really don't know for sure, but what I can say is that multiple sources today are sharing that this actually was a Storm Shadow missile attack in this area of Elgov in the Kursk region. And to me, this makes the most sense, as we were hearing also that I reported to you guys yesterday that this was a bunker reportedly, okay? So if it was a bunker, most likely Storm Shadow missiles would be used, as we've seen Ukraine use this before on some other bunkers in the Kursk region. So real quick, we'll just go ahead and watch this in case you didn't see the video yesterday. You're going to see lots of secondary explosions and what appears to be some sort of ammunition that's detonating and a major fire coming out of the ground over here. Take a look at this.
Ничего не видно, но жесть, короче. Пожар начался. Ребята все в бункере, много человек.
All right, so massive damage appears to be reported over here in Elgov, in a city in the Kursk region. And again, from what we understand, this could have been some sort of bunker. And if it wasn't, I mean, still we had lots of Russian soldiers that were killed and wounded here in this attack, which appears to be from Storm Shadow missiles. So just wanted to give you an update on that. That was according to Astra on Telegram, okay? Now moving on to another update from the general. Breaking: Russia has rejected President Trump's proposed peace deal for Ukraine. Okay, so now we haven't heard of any official reports coming out, of Donald Trump, releasing his plan or anything like that. But some sources were actually sharing this yesterday and today that Russia reportedly rejected President Trump's peace plan before it's even been unveiled or anything like that. So I don't know all the details on this, but just wanted to share this for you guys just in case we actually do see Russia coming out formally or maybe on mainstream news saying that they reject this deal. But we did know yesterday that from Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for the Kremlin, and also the foreign minister of Sergei Lavrov of Russia, both of them basically rejecting the peace plan is kind of what we were reporting yesterday. So it looks like maybe Russia has formally rejected it. We'll see what happens. But they were also very unhappy with the fact that Ukraine, under this peace plan, would be postponed joining NATO for 20 years. So after like 20 years, they could technically join NATO. Russia wasn't okay with that. So it looks like a lot of the parts that are starting to come out from Donald Trump's peace plan are not going to be favored by Russia. So we'll see what happens here moving forward. But that was some news that was coming out yesterday that I thought I would share with you guys. All right, also from War Translated Dmitry, proved ineffective in combat and suffered significant losses, the Pentagon commented on North Korea's assistance to Russia in the Kursk region. Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh confirmed that approximately 1,000 North Korean soldiers were killed or wounded previously. It was reported that about 12,000 soldiers were deployed in the Kursk direction as part of Russian units. This certainly indicates a deepening alliance between Russia and North Korea. I can't say that we are seeing more being sent, but that doesn't mean they won't send more in the future. Okay, so Sabrina Singh coming out, speaking on behalf of the Pentagon recently and stating that for the most part, the North Korean soldiers have been proven ineffective in combat, suffering significant losses, what she said, and also there is a possibility that North Korea could potentially send more troops to fight inside of Ukraine or in the Kursk region in the near future. We've already been hearing that North Korea might be deploying more soon. So that was just an update coming out from the Pentagon. Also from Maria Drutska, this was being reported yesterday. Poland will build a road to the border with Russia's Kaliningrad region by 2025 to enable the rapid deployment of troops and law enforcement if necessary, Poland's Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs for the Financial Times reported. All right, so interesting information now, too. Poland, we already know Poland's been preparing for war with Russia for a while now. They have that missile base on the eastern side of their country. They've been beefing up their border with Belarus. They've been beefing up just military installations in general on the eastern side of their country, as they would be a frontline state if they were to go to war with Russia. Belarus might get involved too, who knows? So we're now hearing that Poland wants to construct a road that leads directly to Kaliningrad, as Kaliningrad is obviously Russian territory. And if any kind of conflict were to break out, they want to be able to deploy soldiers and equipment to the front lines of Kaliningrad very quickly if need be. So that was a big report coming out yesterday from Poland. All right, now from Clash Report, Ukrainian Humvee has been fully encased in a protective cage, not to prevent escape, but to enhance defense against FPV drones, including fiber optic drones that now attack from both above and ground level. So we've got a video here. I've been showing you guys some videos like this, mainly from the Russian side, what the Russians are doing to protect their vehicles from FPV drones, and also unmanned ground vehicles as well, so like drones on the ground. And the Ukrainians are doing the same thing, but if you notice, they use like a cage-style method here, just completely surrounding this Humvee. So take a look at this, about 7 seconds long.
Виготовляємо сходи та перила під замовлення. Виготовляємо.
All right, just a quick clip, but yeah, we can see here this Humvee completely surrounded by this cage, and this is due to the drones. Okay, the drones are very dangerous on either end, whether you're on Ukraine's side or Russia. Both sides are using them, but Ukraine definitely using a lot more FPV drones. And we see the Russians a lot of times makeshifting their own armor protection for their vehicles. And Ukraine has built a cage completely surrounding this Humvee. So kind of cool to see that. All right, also for Max 24, next year for Ukraine will definitely be better than 2024, according to Kirill Budnov. There are objective factors for this, and I hope that we will see a lot of good events, while Russia will have to make very difficult decisions, he added. So I wonder what some of those decisions might be. I mean, something that I was thinking about was in terms of Russia's economy. We know their economy is not doing good right now. It is in the toilet, basically, for the most part. Their ruble is completely collapsing. Their oil is completely being battered from all these drone attacks. Gazprom is losing a lot of money in the stock market right now. So their economy is not doing very good. Their interest rates are very high. So maybe they might have to make some decisions, like maybe starting to pull out of Ukraine or kind of wind down this war. Maybe they won't be able to stay in. Who knows? And then we're also hearing that the West is going to start going after Russia's shadow fleet of tankers that are being used to circumvent sanctions and transport oil around the world. So that could be a big one right there, as well as Russia's major portion of their economy is selling oil. So if that happens, they're going to be in big trouble. So, they're apparently expecting that 2025 is going to be a better year for Ukraine, according to Kirill Budnov. So let me know what you think. Do you think that 2025 will be a better year? Do you think this war will come to an end? Or do you think this war is going to continue and worsen? Or is NATO at some point going to get involved? Hopefully that would never be the case. But what do you think is going to happen? Let me know down below in the comment section, okay? Finally, one last thing to share with you guys from the Kyiv Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of December 31st, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So we've got our final update to show the Russian losses according to the Ukrainians. And it says here, 1,610 troops, 27 AFVs, 75 vehicles and fuel tanks, 5 tanks, 34 artillery systems, 12 UAVs, and looks like 1 special equipment being reported lost from the Russian side. Now, again, this is from Ukrainian intelligence. So let me know what you think down below. Once again, a pretty massive amount of troops being lost. We've been seeing right around 2,000 over the last few days. This time a little bit lower, 1,600, okay? So that's going to be it for today's update, though, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and lots of big news coming out from Ukraine and Russia today as both sides were exchanging heavy attacks. So let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.